Welcome into the Pondcast, presented by AT&T, the official wireless provider of the Minnesota Wild. And it's our pleasure to talk to October's American Hockey League Rookie of the Month. It's none other than Mikael Granlund. Congratulations, Mikael. That's a pretty cool honor.
Granlund got to a loose puck and he scores! Mikael Granlund, his first AHL tally. Zucker racing in, fired one. Granlund side of the net, he scores! Mikael Granlund's got a pair!
That first North American point comes on October 14th. That first North American goal comes on October 20th. In all, the top-scoring rookie forward with 3 goals and 10 points in the first 7 games. I guess, it's an obvious question, but I'm going to ask you, how's it been going so far, the adaptation to North American hockey?
It's been nice so far. You know, we have a good team, and I have a chance to play with the great guys, so it has been real fun so far, and it has been a pretty good assessment so far.
It's just your first month as a pro, getting your feet wet in the American Hockey League. You probably had an idea of what hockey would be like in North America before coming over here, Mikael. Now that you've done it for a month, has it lived up to your expectations and what you thought North American hockey would be all about?
Yeah, it's a little different compared to hockey in Europe, but, it's still the same game. It's just more ice, and you don't have that much space, and you need to do things faster, and maybe that's the biggest difference between Europe and North America.
And for the fans that don't know, you play on the Olympic-sized sheet of ice over there in Europe. Over here, you're playing on the smaller North American ice like we talked about. You mentioned that's the biggest thing to get used to. How have you been able to use that in your favor, if at all?
Always when you have a chance, when you're offensive zone, you are kind of having a scoring chance. You're closer to the net all the time, so that's why it's actually more fun, and it's like the style guys play here is a little different to Europe. In Europe, it's like more kind of like puck position, and to try to keep the puck and all the stuff, because this ice is bigger, and it has been a little different, but everything has gone good so far, and hopefully we can keep going on that.
I know for the most part over there in Finland, you were playing with guys that were much older than you. And correct me if I'm wrong in any of this, but this has been my assumption. When you were playing in the Finnish Elite League, you're playing with guys that are much older. Now you're in the American Hockey League. You've got a nice mix. Some guys your age, for the most part, probably a little bit older. But I would think, in my eyes, the American Hockey League would be a much more physical brand of hockey. Has that been your experience as well, dealing with some of the physical aspect of it?
Yeah, sure. It's like more ice, so you get more chances to make hits, and that's also one difference between in Europe. In Finland, in Finland actually hockey is a little different too compared to other Europe. There's a little more ice, and the game is pretty physical down there. So I used to that, and it's even, you can see that even more here in AHL and in North America because of the size of the rink.
Again, we're talking to Mikael Granlund, the Wild's first-round draft pick, 9th overall in 2010. He's 20 years old and has just captured October's Rookie of the Month in the American Hockey League. I know that before getting banged up, Jason Zucker would be on one wing, Charlie Coyle on the other. Zucker's been out the last few games, but having an opportunity to work with him and Coyle in the first handful of contests, what was that like? I know these guys, along with yourself, are 2 or 3 of the top-ranked guys in the Wild organization as far as prospects go.
Yeah, those guys are amazing players, and it has been fun to play with those guys. Now, actually, we have a lot of guys like who are in the same situation as me. First year here in AHL or as a pro. So that's a cute thing. There's guys in the same situation, and you can you have all the competition all the time in practice and all that stuff. So it's been good, and all those guys are great players, and hopefully we can do all we can on the ice and make team win.
I know it is a similar situation, especially for guys like Zucker and Coyle, where they're here, in the American Hockey League and trying to break into the pros and their first taste of what the American Hockey League is all about. But you've got a little bit of something extra in there that maybe Johan Larsson is another guy that's dealing with, Jonas Brodin as well, where these guys are just getting a taste of what the American Hockey League is about. You three in particular are in a new country, surrounded by strangers, speaking what is really your second language. How hard has it been to make to add that added burden onto already a tough situation?
It hasn't been that tough. We have a great guys in the team, so if we need some help, those guys can help. And everything has went pretty good so far, and all we just need to do is focus on the games and try to do all we can for the team.
We'll talk about your opponent here coming up this weekend, but when you're on the road, do you have a roommate? Do you have someone that's kind of taking you under their wing, kind of showing you what the American Hockey League is all about?
Actually, I have a roommate. I'm with Bulmer.
Oh, boy. How's that, having Brett Bulmer as your roommate?
It's been fun so far. It's a good guy.
He seems like a pretty good guy. He also seems like a guy that has a whole lot of energy. Have you been able to kind of, and you seem kind of like the opposite, not that you don't have a lot of energy, but you seem a little more even keel, where he kind of strikes me as a guy that likes to have a good time. Let's put it that way.
I don't know about that, They're just normal young guys, and, we just play hockey, and that's all. We're just young guys.
Just talk about this coming weekend. We'll start with 3 games and 3 nights. You got a pair in Oklahoma City, then you return home on Sunday for a home game in Houston. Do you know much about your opponent starting Friday through Saturday, the Edmonton Oilers Farm Club in Oklahoma City?
Yeah, we have played against them once regular season, and we had a couple of exhibition games against those guys, so they have a great team. They have a lot of skill in their team, and we just need to play hard and stick on our system, and that's how we and beat those guys. It's a good team, but I think we have a great team too.
Similar to the Houston Aeros, the Oklahoma City team is benefiting from the fact that there is a lockout in the National Hockey League, and that means that their club is a whole lot better because some of their stars from Edmonton are playing there with the Oklahoma City team in the American Hockey League, and they have a rather young lineup. Justin Schultz is one of them, the American Hockey League's leading scorer. Taylor Hall looks like he's going to make his AHL debut. A younger lineup, and I'm guessing that on some stage that you've played against them in international hockey. Do you know any of these guys by name?
Yeah, sure. I know a lot of guys, all those big names. They are great players, and I have played against those guys in international games, so sure I know those guys.
All right, well, very good, Mikael. Hey, good luck this weekend. We'll be following you, and make sure Brett Bulmer shares that remote with you when you're on the road there in the hotel, okay?
Okay.